Yo, what's up, fam? It's Trabbit with this $20 mic here to talk about Somali and the Forest Spirit. So, here I wanted to cover a couple of points on what I believe to be the sleeper anime of this season. First off, I wanted to cover how Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is actually a character in this show. I know everyone is really happy that there aren't many isekai this season, but nobody's really acknowledging this point, the fact that Somali and the Forest Spirit is an isekai. So, in the Jotaro vs. Dio fight at the end of Part 3, it's my personal belief that Jotaro was actually killed during that fight. The true reason why Dio chose a road roller was to isekai Jotaro, and it worked, and this is that alternate universe. So, essentially, Jotaro gets transported into this new world as a forest golem who watches over the realm, only to find a lost human girl, a species nearing extinction. This reminds him of his friends from the Stardust Crusaders, and he decides to help her find other humans in this world that despises them. That is what this series is all about. Anyways, now that I have my JoJo reference out of the way, I wanted to talk about the second thing that makes this show purely a joy for me, and that's the world. Now, if you look at the top 10 anime shows on all of my anime list, you'll see Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Steins Gate, Hunter x Hunter, Gintama, Attack on Titan, Gintama again, and again, and again. Yeah, Mel does a great job of keeping things fair. But that aside, all of these have one thing in common, and that's interesting concepts, characters, and most of all, the world and story that exists is wonderfully handcrafted. FMA appears to take place in a parallel world to the early 20th century Europe, but the politics involved are much deeper than they appear to be initially. The introduction of alchemy and its uses are fantastic, and the characters are all so original and genuinely lovable. Hunter x Hunter's world is such a unique mix of fantastical scenes and modern technology, with one of the best power systems in all of anime. Steins Gate does a wonderful job of making its characters believable and lovable at the same time, while Attack on Titan gave a fresh, new, brutal world at the beginning of a new era of anime. And lastly, Gintama is a satire. That's kind of it. Like, the writer wanted to write a satire shonen story, and then just kept the joke running for like 700 chapters. Anyways, in the last few years, and especially in 2017 and 18 seasons, it seemed like instead of creating these new and interesting worlds, it was more about what quirk can we give to this black haired high school otaku, but keep him the same as the other 7,000 protagonists that I'm ripping off right now. But that's what makes Somali so refreshing. The color palette is immediately bright, but in its own style. Instead of seeing the typical trope of elves, dwarves, and lizard men, you have all of these different unique races, and you have all of these different unique towns that they exist in. You've got bunnies without mouths, some guy that looks like they belong in Star Wars, and Asagiri Gen from Dr. Stone. Each random side character is entirely different from the last, and you can tell the creator put a lot of thought into how these creatures and races were constructed. In a world of copy paste, it's so refreshing to see a new world with new characters. One of the things that really stuck out to me was this sort of mushroom creature that existed in this underground world that Somali visits, where she, of course, gets separated from her dad, like she does every episode. But she escapes into this weird underground Skyrim-esque looking thing, only to find that it's a lot more dangerous than she had initially expected, and just the world building surrounding that area and the creatures that exist in it is amazing. This is what makes the story so enjoyable. The Somali and hero Tosan are my favorite non-science type pair in the anime this season. We've seen this kind of character exploration before when we see a non-human character become more empathetic and show human-like traits, and that was the whole plot of Parasite the Maxim, but it feels so refreshing and so well done in Somali. Mr. Golem is the farthest thing from being a human in that world, and yet he's shown her more compassion than anything else had in that world. Mr. Golem doesn't want to be seen as someone who can show emotion. The story portrays him as this mindless droid whose only protocol is to protect the child. And even then, the times where I got most emotional while watching this are the moments where he loses Somali or she's in danger, and all of a sudden, this human side comes out of him, it feels like. He retains that sort of no emotion character. At the same time, he shows so much emotion in the way that he responds to losing her or having her in danger. And speaking of emotional, this anime has made me cry every single episode that has aired. I'm not a huge crier when it comes to sad situations, unless, like, I screwed up. But when it comes to the parental bond stuff, I'll be bawling like a baby all day, every day. It's one thing when a company says, hey, give us money and we'll make you cry. That usually comes as forced, and it really doesn't evoke anything from me. But it's entirely different when a writer offers up this enticing story and a world that makes you care about its characters. And Somali does a great job of doing just that. Now, at the end of the day, when you create something that you put time into and you enjoyed working on, other people will notice. And I feel like not enough people on the platform are talking about Somali, which is a real shame because it is amazing and it will make you cry. Anyway, that's been me and my take on Somali and why you should watch it. One quick thing before you go, though. I'm currently writing a light novel myself, inspired by trying to make SAO, but good, mixed with elements of Monster Hunter and trying to live up to the storyline and characters of FMA. I would love it if you could check out the subreddit where I'm dropping chapters for free as I write them. Joining that subreddit would be a huge help. As always, subscribing, leaving a like, and sharing helps a ton as well. And until next time, I'm Trobit, and may the Sapphire Star guide you.